Is your print shop ready for 2026? DTF is expected to grow by over 40% from where it is now by the end of 2026. And a lot of these trends, I think, are going to be driven by two major things that I'm going to be laying out today for you in this video. Not much of the innovation really seems to be coming from the top. It doesn't seem to be coming from Epson themselves, so it's not going to be at the print head or the printer itself. It's kind of going to be coming from the assemblers, the manufacturers of the machines and the dryers, and the software and automation that we're applying on top of all of that. That's going to look like a lot of little things that when you do put all of them together, they can combine into being something that is actually a fundamental difference, and something that when you compare apples to apples can really start to look more like apples and oranges. So I want to talk about the two ways that I really see the DTF industry kind of changing in 2026, give you the tips and the tricks that I've learned along the way so far. And by the way, if you guys are new, my name is Alex, I'm the owner here at AMS. We are on 4 24-inch Audley DTF printers. We've been doing this since 2020, and we started in our spare bedroom, moved out to a garage, and here we are in our 2,000 square foot facility here in Houston, Texas, printing custom DTF transfers. But enough about me, let's talk about where I think the biggest trend kind of playing out and happening in 2026. And that's going to be automation and workflow integrations. So that's going to be something where you have a real click to print system where your customer, their artwork goes from an actual file to the rip to the printer to the actual cut up DTF transfer. I think that something like that where you have the entire workflow completely integrated from end to end is something that we're going to see really popular and common by the end of the year. So with the industry really moving towards an entirely integrated, a fully automated production line from end to end, that's going to mean that we're going to have a lot more integrated workflows. So something that may have been done by one operator, passed off to another, and then finished by another can now almost be done completely by just one person, or maybe even one day by nobody, and it can just be done completely automated. Another thing that I think we're seeing when it comes to the automation, the speed, and the workflow integrations is going to be this multi-head printing system. So for any of you guys who may have caught some of the coverage from the Printing United 2025 conference down in Orlando, I don't know what it was, but it seemed like multi-head printing systems just going as high as they possibly can was all of the rage. And that was what was the new trend, what the manufacturers, the suppliers, that is what they're doing now. And it seems to be something that we'll get into this a little bit later in the video, but is actually producing some really good results. So we'll talk about the colors and the differences that all of these different print heads and colors are actually achieving a little bit later. I wanted to note that for sure. What used to be good, like these are 2-head systems, what used to be good at 2, maybe even pushing it at 4, is we're seeing all the way up to 13 print heads. I can't believe it myself. Trying to manage nozzles and do a nozzle check on 13 printers at the beginning of every morning. That sounds like a nightmare that I don't want to have. So we're seeing some really great and just blistering fast speeds coming out of these printers though. And something like that I think is going to again go hand in hand with that fully integrated workflow. To keep these printers fed with artwork, with orders, with jobs, we're going to need something that actually increases that front end, the pre-press, and making sure that the artwork that we're sending is actually good quality. And I think that's going to go hand in hand with the whole integration into the IoT ecosystem. So not just related to the actual printer, but it's going to be related to the maintenance on the printer. So maybe that can actually look like some sensors on the dampers, on the print heads, actually watching the prints that are coming off of it and helping you better predict when your machine is going to go down so that you can plan for it, so that you can better prepare and do that predictive maintenance. Stuff like that I think is going to be a really common thing. It's going to be all connected. It's going to be probably even another subscription, anything to do with like a connected cloud ecosystem. They always get you on the subscriptions. So I think that that's going to be something big. And then another thing that I have in my notes here is the remote monitoring and analysis. Going hand in hand with that integrated system, you're going to have the camera system where it's going to be watching the prints. You can operate the printers remotely, send and manage jobs, manage the queue from anywhere in the shop and anywhere in the world, technically. So I think that that is going to be a really big thing. And then also the AI integrations with the images, with the image generation for the pre-press. So getting the artwork to the point where you can actually send it to a DTF printer, kind of like not the kind of can be a difficult thing. And like I said, keeping these printers when you're printing at such ludicrous speeds, like that 13 head printer that I was talking, that was at 2,000 square feet per hour. Crazy, I know. So keeping all of this fed, we're going to need some improvements in the systems that we're actually running, and that's where AI in the pre-press can really come in. So that can look like allowing us to have AI remove backgrounds, AI upscale our images, AI even vectorize our images. We upload a raster, get back a transparent vector. Stuff like this is all going to help us and kind of consolidate and allow us to reduce the footprint of our art department. So I'm not someone who says that this can completely change and delete your art department right now, right here. I think that we're still a little bit far away, but that's not to say you can't take maybe a team of 3 down to 1, a team of 6 down to 2. Something like this I think is really common, and we're going to be seeing a lot of it, unfortunately or fortunately, depending on the position that you're currently in when you're watching this video. But we have a lot of that system kind of covered. We know where that is going. I think we're still going to see some stuff happening here on this end of the printers as well. So on the end where the printers are done, they finished curing, they're printed, everything is good to go, they're a finished transfer at this point. We still have to do a good bit of manual work in that we have to cut them, separate the orders, and get everybody ready to go so that we can get them sent out. And that's just on our end. You still have to then, if you did a row of 4x4 left chest designs, cut those out from your gang sheet. So again, if you guys did see any of the coverage from Printing United 2025, it seems like they just now invented contour cutting for the film at the end of the dryer. So now they can actually go around and do circles for the transfers for the prints, and it's not just limited to the straight line cuts. So we're making progress, but all of that to say, I think we're still a little bit away from actually doing what would be a normal gang sheet where you have the images pretty close together and you use a gang sheet for the purpose of trying to save the money, fitting the most designs on the sheet. I don't know, from the stuff that I was seeing at the show, they had a big amount of blank wasted space on the film, and that was so that they could actually get the good cuts out of the transfer sheet. But that's the other thing. If you are trying to automate the entire process from end to end, from the time the customer uploads the design on the website to the transfer being printed, to the transfer even being applied to the t-shirt, if you're looking to do the whole stream, you actually kind of need something where it is a perfect square, a perfect circle, something that is perfect every single time. It's the same every time, and it's something that you can train a machine to do. You can make a robot pick this up, put it there every single time, and it's going to be the right placement, it's going to be the right size, and stuff like that. You're not going to be able to do that with a little 4x2 left chest design that you tried to put onto a gang sheet. So I know that that's kind of in the weeds there, but all of that to say, I think that maybe wasting a little bit more of the film so that we can have repeatable, perfect squares every single time of a same size that we can then train a robot to then put that on a t-shirt is going to be a valuable trade-off, and especially with the way that the industrial consumables market has been going, that could be something that is possible in the future. That though I'm going to put as kind of an asterisk. I don't necessarily know how that's going to play out. It's just something to think about. Okay, so a little bit more on what I was talking about earlier. So we have the extra print heads, up to 13 print heads. What is that doing? Is that just making it so that we can print CMYK faster and we can just crank these bad boys out? Well, there's a little bit of that, and there's also some additional colors that are being added. So for screen printing, we have a Pantone mixing system. In that mixing system, we have 17 different spot colors, and using all of those different spot colors, we can make any color in the Pantone mixing system. So to make any color in the Pantone mixing system, you need 17 colors. Thereabouts, there's some that you need around that many colors. So that's why when I kind of saw that 13 head printer and the printer that came with 13 different colors, my ears perked up and I got pretty interested. So when I saw the comparison myself of what was just actually an RGVO design, so it's the red, green, violet, and orange, in addition to the CMYK, it was a pretty big difference. Like, I was actually pretty surprised. And those of you guys who may have seen my videos here on the channel before, I've been a skeptic of this, and I've kind of not thought that this was going to be the way that the industry moves. But seeing that comparison, seeing the actual difference side by side, night and day, really is compelling. And I do think that that is kind of where the industry is going to be moving. The ball is going to be heading. And I'm excited to see what that enables, because obviously I'm not someone who wants to have 17 different colors all lined up on the back of my printer. But the way that I was kind of sold, and I kind of got bought into it, was the person explained that to make a red image, for example, a whole, like a 100% red image, if you were to do that with CMYK, you're going to be using 100% cyan, 100% magenta to combine and make that red. Versus on something like that RGVO printer, I can never get that right, that is going to use 100% red. So rather than using 2 channels of 100% ink, it's actually only going to use 1 channel 100%, thereby saving almost 50% ink on that actual print for what could be a more vibrant image, because it's all red, there's no mixing of the two. I was pretty interested in that, and that was compelling. So I myself, here, I'm going to be doing a lot more research into those. I'm going to be kind of seeing what it looks like, and maybe even hopefully drop a like down below if you guys want to see us give one here in the shop. We can see what that looks like in 2026. But that is for sure, I think, a big thing where the industry is going to be looking. And then secondly, the special effects when it comes to the transfers. So this is going to be primarily geared towards the end of the process after the prints have been printed. So I saw a bunch of cool things at that conference that was related to this. So it's metallics. I'm seeing a lot of like 3D effect. I saw the liquid 3D for the hats. That looked really cool. But there's also stuff like DTF effect. So any of you guys who have been around the block with screen printing, screen print transfer with like the foil adhesive, that's now available and coming to DTF. So if any of you ever tried to do a foil adhesive for screen print with just a DTF transfer, it never worked. It wouldn't actually stick and transfer. But now we're seeing they've perfected the foil to the point where we can use our normal DTF transfers. We don't have to change anything on the printers or the ink in the film settings, just change the actual foil that we're applying to the transfer at the t-shirt level, and we can get some really cool effects. So there's like over 50 different colors and shades, really cool stuff, and I'm excited to see what else they add and what kind of creative possibilities that customers, designers, and creatives can come up with all of this stuff. It's all just more ways to express our creativity at the end of the day. So I think it's gonna be some cool stuff. But overall though, that's just about it. I have 2 other things that I kind of wanted to highlight. These are gonna be some honorable mentions. So I think that the hybrid DTF printer system, this was kind of integrated with the F100 from Epson, where you could do shirts and do roll to roll, or was it sheet to sheet printing? Either one. We've kind of seen this before, but I think it's going to be a bigger thing and a bigger push in the future here in 2026, that hybrid DTF printer. I also think UV DTF, we can't sleep on it, guys. It really came onto the scene hot in 2025, but I think we're gonna see that push forward even more in 2026. But let me know, did I miss anything, guys? If you did make it this far into the video, odds are there's someone else just like you down in the comment section, and chat with them. See if there is anything I missed, drop it down below so that we all can learn and benefit. We're growing our heat press community, our transfer community here on the channel, so get subscribed if you aren't already. Hit the like down below, comment anything that I might have missed or anything that you guys want to see more of, and I will see you guys in the next video.
In a world full of visions, dreams on the run, we needed a spark, now look what we've done. Just type it, describe it, watch it unfold. Design gen's the magic, turning ideas to gold.